All right, we're back for another episode of The Guide Life up here on beautiful Lake Vermilion. You know, our guide team, we have a lot of good walleye fishermen, great walleye fishermen, excellent walleye fishermen, but there are a few of us on the guide team who are kind of nuts for other species, and I, for one, have kind of grown fond for the smallmouth bass. And Lake Vermilion has got an absolute absurd amount of bass in it, and we are going to go out today and we're going to chase smallies all over the lake. We're excited. We have someone that's going to join us today that hasn't been on the Guide Life show before. They are a bass nut. They love Lake Vermilion just like I do. So we're going to head down the lake. We're going to go pick that person up here at one of the resorts we work with, and we're going to have an awesome day today, catching smallmouth bass on Lake Vermilion. Joe and I, after
pizza,
Vermilion Club pizza last night, full tummies.
Wow,
Yeah, look
that's
that one.
cool.
31 incher, baby!
Every day, all day.
On the feed. Oh, we got one! I put out this bubble.
Oh boy.
One of my faves.
Bottom, so you want to get that one back?
We went old school. Finder 19, Zach.
Nice fish, buddy.
Thanks.
That's a good one.
That's a nice one, Jason.
As a football coach,
There
I'd
we
say
go.
There we go. First nice fish of the day. On top of these fish, like we said.
There we go. Big walleye. Look at that beautiful fish. Yeah! Yeah! That's awesome. You want to go catch a big one? Oh, what a
Beautiful, old warrior.
Yeah, beautiful.
Heavy too.
yeah. 37. 8 minutes to go. Woo!
The Guide Life with Leisure Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by these great partners.
All right, well, I just picked up my fishing partner for the day. I got Garrett Hagelin with Maluna, and obviously one of our sponsors of the Guide Life, which we are happy. We got our Maluna in the boat today, and as I was saying, Garrett's kind of a bass head.
I try to. I dabble in the bass world, that's for sure.
Yeah,
it's a good passion of mine.
What's ironic is I'm pretty sure I had Garrett in class back in the day.
Yeah, no, that is true. I'm pretty sure I had Jason in class a long time
Teacher
ago.
taking student fishing, maybe teacher teaching student a little bit about something.
Might come full circle today.
It might come full circle. So we are, Garrett actually loves Lake Vermilion. You've been up here many times.
Yeah, no, I've spent a fair amount of time up here, you know, especially over the COVID years when we couldn't go across the border to a bigger scale of Lake Vermilion, AKA Lake of the Woods, another amazing fishery. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time here on Vermilion just figuring out the bass fishing out here and springtime walleye fishing. It's such an awesome lake. Multi-species from walleyes to smallmouth and pike and muskie. I mean, you can do it all up here. It's just beautiful.
Well, if you look around the boat, we've got about 20 rods. We actually look like a bass boat. So we're in the Lund Pro Guide. I probably should have rented a Lund Pro V Bass today, but we got the Pro Guide rigged up. Can't take the tiller out of the tiller guy.
Right.
We got the foot pedal hooked up front, which rarely gets used. And we are going to throw a bunch of stuff with smallmouth today. And from what I have gathered, learning with water temps being in the still mid 60s, these fish are still going to be relatively shallow. They were just on their beds, I know, about a week or so ago, some of them. So we're going to be able to kind of bop around. And between Garrett's favorite spots and my favorite spots, I think we're going to put together a bass show for you guys. So stay tuned, and it's time to go catch some brownies.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go.
So Lake Vermilion bass fishing. I was just telling Jason, you can have the kitchen sink out here, but at the end of the day, there's going to be one bait that they try to key in on, it seems like. And like we said earlier, we've got the gambit, we've got the kitchen sink out here for rods and gear and stuff. So at least to start and to pinpoint fish and see what they're hitting and stuff, My first go-tos are gonna be one of these two baits out on Lake Vermilion. It's gonna be a stick bait. This is the X-Wrap. The pink, absolutely my favorite color, but some style of jerk bait is gonna be really important. And then a chatterbait is another Lake Vermilion gem out here for smallmouth. So I like these two different baits because they're search baits. It helps me locate fish in fishing all kinds of different structure and things. They're versatile that way. Once I get on the fish though, and they seem to be stacked up in a spot, I'm gonna slow down and go to like a hair jig style or a minnow profile like this fluke here. That really helps me start picking them apart and not disrupting the school of fish as much. So he's hooked up. I'm already jealous. Lake Vermilion is a huge topwater lake as well. So hard to beat that bite for sure.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Topwater, baby. That is... If that doesn't get the blood going here this morning, I tell you what. What, that thing is a mouthful.
I'm already jealous, I'm not gonna lie.
Look at that. That's gonna require pliers, but holy cow. Try to not. There. Fatty. Tell you what, there's a ton of them in the lake that are like this. We're obviously hoping to catch a couple bigger ones, but that's a good way to start, especially when it's on a topwater. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one back. There she goes. Well, you know, it's even better when the guy up front's giving tips and filming video stuff and I'm in the back yanking in topwater smallies. Those guys get back to work, I'm just gonna keep fishing now.
That's a fish.
There we go.
That's a little bit better smallmouth.
You want me to put a net on that one?
Sure.
Grab the old clam here quick.
Just to get the net wet anyways.
Might as well. Wow, that's a good one. It's a healthy one.
Nice.
Old chatterbait.
Here we go.
Whoops, sorry, Joe. Blooper reel.
It's that Lake Vermilion.
That one's got some shoulders, Garrett.
Yeah. It's that Lake Vermilion secret again, that chatterbait. It's it's an underestimated bait for these smallmouth here, and for whatever reason, the Lake Vermilion smallmouth just love it up, so get that one back too. There's a fish.
They are chowing it.
I think I casted it right into that one's mouth.
That'll do some.
Right in. There we go. Not a bad one at all. Sweet. Another victim of the chatterbait. Awesome. Gotta love it. Nice.
Get that, Joe?
That one looked like he crushed it.
Oh, yeah.
Got a real spirited one there.
Oh, I know. I know if Val hooked him, that's why he's fighting so hard. That was cool.
Super cool. That's awesome.
This thing just don't give up. Saw the boil, threw the old popper at him. And yeah. Look at that. Perky. Pretty awesome. Like I said, we just fishing right off a little reed point. We all were like, ooh, look at that boil. Threw the old popper about 5 feet to the right of the boil, and after about the third pop, that thing just inhaled it. Sweet, let's get her back. Here she goes.
One more topwater bite is all it's gonna take, and I'm gonna have to
Vermilion,
pull it
baby,
on.
I tell you what. You know, I do a lot of this when I can on Vermilion. You know, it's like I said, smallies have kind of got a soft spot for them, even though they fight so stinking hard. But you know, probably the coolest thing about guiding on Lake Vermilion, and people ask me all the time, like, you know, like, why do you love it over there so much? And I tell them, number one, you got to come over and experience it. But number two, it's just it's a multi-species mecca here. And you know, you get a flat, calm day like this where, you know, the walleyes might bite maybe first thing in the morning, and then might get a little bit tougher. But you can switch gears on a dime, and that's what I do a lot with my guide trips up here. Is, you know, especially getting that midsummer months where maybe the walleye bite is slowed down. We'll take a 6-hour trip and we'll break it up into 3 and 3, and we'll do 3 hours of walleye fishing, try to get a few for, you know, dinner or whatnot, and then we'll switch over to bass. And whether it's fishing smallies or even largemouth, there's a great largemouth population on the lake and some really big ones. It's action-packed. The rods are bending. You can have visual bites like topwater bites. You can do all kinds of different ways. It's just a fun way to put people on fish. And more importantly, as a fishing guide, give them a great experience. So we're gonna get back at it. And like Garrett said, he goes, I think all it's gonna take is one more topwater bite, and we're both gonna be throwing topwaters. So we'll see what happens. We're gonna keep throwing the kitchen sink at him, but so far so good on Lake Vermilion.
Fish where the fish are. That part ain't rocket science. In terms of walleye production, Leech Lake is best. Trapper's Landing Lodge on the south shore of Leech Lake has the finest lodging on the entire lake. With renowned angling expert Josh Bullivant managing the property, Trapper's Landing is the place to be, opening weekend and all season long. Fish where the fish are. Stay at Trapper's. Call for reservations 218-836-2500.
Whether you're after that trophy fish or the perfect weekend escape, Ray's Sport & Marine and RJ's Sport & Cycle has the ride for you. Shop the best brands and get expert advice at all 6 of our locations across Minnesota. Ray's Sport & Marine and RJ's Sport & Cycle, when your passion is the water.
There we go.
Nice.
There's your brother.
Garrett, you're on fire, man.
Things are warming up.
Another good one.
Let's get this guy in. Oh. Another dandy. This is a nice fish. That was back-to-back casts anyways. Again, just right along the bank there, and saw this one cruising with the one I had just caught too, and that one picked it up. Some nice stripes on that one.
All perky.
See you later, buddy. Cool. That was awesome. You think there's another one with them? That's what I mean when you get in an area where a number of them are loaded up. You can throw something finessey at them like this hair jig, or Jason's got a tube on now, and kind of pick them apart a little bit slower versus kind of crashing through them with a motion bait. But that's a fun bite. There's another one.
Another one?
Yep. That's cool. Lake Vermilion, baby. Oh, that's another good one.
Nice, 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 nice.
Like I was saying, you get in an area with a number of them. Once you've found them with the search bait, you just start picking them apart. Look at that one. Look at that one. Nice.
The colors on that one.
Nice stripes on that one. That's awesome. Get her back. There she goes. Well, that doesn't suck. That's cool. Like I said, just start picking them apart one by one. It's a slower process. It takes a little bit of patience to just slow down. And oh, there goes another one surfacing. But slow down and get on top of them. You don't know how many fish you'll miss when you just kind of bust through them with the search bait at times. So, yeah.
So, you know, one of the first things every fisherman does when he goes fishing with another person that he's never fished with before, I've never fished with Garrett, is he looks at what kind of rods he brings in the boat and all that kind of stuff. And Garrett, I couldn't help but notice, had a couple Elliott rods from Two Brothers Innovations in the boat with him today. And I am an ambassador for Two Brothers Innovations. And the company, located in Bemidji, Minnesota, is known for putting together a whole series of rods. Walleye rods, trolling rods, bass rods, muskie rods. But what they really focus on is basically creating a rod that gives you the tools that you need to go out and be successful on the water. Like, I'll give the analogy, like, can you build a house with just a screwdriver? You can't. You got to have multiple tools to build a house. While as a fisherman, when you're going bass fishing, you're going walleye fishing, for example, you need to have multiple tools with you, and your rods are those tools. Today, bass fishing wise, all right, this year Two Brothers came out with their Performance Bass Series, and I've got some of those in the boat with me today, as well as the Elliott Identity rod, as well, the hair jig rod. But I'm just going to quick showcase those. You know, so here's a 610, all right, medium power, moderate fast action bait casting rod. What this one is designed to do is top waters, jerk baits, things like that. It's designed for that action of a rod to help these baits perform at their peak, really. And so whether it's castability, whether it's, you know, helping the bait perform the way it's supposed to perform in the water, the hook set aspect of things, all those things all get put into the rod here, as well as the action of the rod, the backbone of the rod when you're fighting fish like this. And so this one today, we've caught a couple fish on it, the Performance Bass, all right, this bait caster, like I said, the medium power, moderate fast action. And then from there, probably my next favorite rod I've been using this year is this one right here. And this is just essentially a great rod for whether you want to throw a Ned rig, yeah, a hair jig, 611, we got medium light power, so you got a little faster action on the tip. You can basically finesse fish a little bit more. That's why it's great for those types of things to feel along the way, but great castability. Pair it with your favorite reel, pair it with your favorite line. I like high vis line with a fluorocarbon leader. But these Performance Bass rods, my first time using them, and I so far have been super impressed with how they handle, how they sit in your hand, every little part of things. That's the great thing about Two Brothers, is they pay attention to little things when it comes to the reel seat, to how it fits in your hand, to the width of the grip, how the grip feels, and then obviously the rod itself. And then Garrett today, he brought along this one, and this is a gem as well. And last year they came out with the Elliott Identity lineup, and exactly what it is, it's the thumbprint. It is the part of the rod that is specific to the presentation that you're trying to fish. This is specific to the Elliott Identity hair jig rod, and as you're seeing, we're catching a lot of fish on hair jigs, and this rod is a gem, because when you're casting these light hair jigs like this, these light presentations, you have to have that whip effect to get it out there, not only for casting, but then for feeling those subtle bites when those fish come up and grab the hair jig, for example. So once again, I mean, this is one of the high end in terms of like right at the top of the lineup, but you can find a rod within the whole 2B series, whether it's the Two Brothers Innovations, it's the 2B series, the series itself, the Genesis series, the Identity series, the Performance Bass series. They all have different things they can do for you. And so, I mean, if I were to tell you to go out there, and obviously you could spend a lot of money on rods, but definitely have a variety of types of actions of rods, lengths of rods. All those things can come into play when you're fishing for whether it's bass or walleyes or other species. They all have that purpose. You know, you can't take a musky rod and go crappie fishing, right? You got to have the right rods to be essentially successful on the water. And so check them out. Two Brothers Innovations, Bemidji, Minnesota. They got a specific rod, price points for all different anglers. And once you get a couple of them in your hand, trust me, you're gonna wanna ask for a lot more of them on your Christmas list this next year. That's a better than we thought.
Yeah.
You got it? You want me to net them?
I'll get him here. Yeah, that is a lot better than we thought.
Heck yeah.
Sweet.
I knew there was a reason I brought Garrett along.
Someone's got to bring the bass, huh? This one back too.
There we go.
There we go.
Ooh. Feisty one.
That's a nice one.
Bad one.
You got that one, or can I help you with
I
that?
got it. Ooh, jeez. Come on. Come on. Angry one here. There we go. Well, I got sick of watching Garrett put 3 in the boat with a hair jig, so I, of course, like every good angler does, attached to the other anglers in the boat. This one, I might need pliers. Got it. Nice perky one here. Tell you what, these things are healthy on Lake Vermilion. You know, I'm gonna get this one back. I'm just gonna talk a little bit about location here. You know, I think one topic that everybody keeps talking about in the fishing industry is forward-facing sonar, and we're not even using ours today. There's no reason to, and what the areas we're fishing, and so we're fishing a lot of these shallow bays. You know, it's mid-June, water temps are still pretty cool on the lake. And so we're looking in areas where these fish are going to be sliding up and spawning. And so honestly, the number one thing when it comes to electronics right now is just mapping and having good mapping. On Lake Vermilion, I use my Lowrance in my mapping there to find those key areas, those bays where those fish are going to slide in and out of. And honestly, our forward-facing sonar is sitting up on the bow, laying on the bow today, and we're just using our eyes. And that's, you know, so we find it, we use the map, we find the areas, and then from there we use our eyes, which brings up a really, really good point. You got to have a good pair of sunglasses. You know, I wear these wavy ones. I work with them. They're awesome, super reasonable, but to have a good pair of Polaroid glasses to be able to see in these areas and find these specific spots where maybe these fish are bedding, or maybe it's a you know, a key boulder or a sunken log or something like that, to be able to have a good pair of sunglasses and see that. But like I said, electronics for us is just quality mapping, finding the key areas, once in there, find the specific spots within those areas using your eyes, and that's how you can put a lot of smallmouth as well as largemouth in the boat. So what we have found is where these emerging reed beds are coming up, where you have a little bit of transition where there's some sand and gravel and then it meets those rocks. Those are some prime spots because those fish oftentimes are going to find most of those areas to spawn. And then from there, the key areas, as you look at the map, a lot of these fish then are going to eventually migrate. And so you find these shallow bays, and they are all over Lake Vermilion, east side, west side especially, but you find those areas. From there, those fish will migrate. So when you look at the map, find those shallow bays, you know, they're going to be 4 or 5 feet of water, you know, maybe get a little bit deeper, but for the most part, they're just shallow all the way throughout. And then from there, those fish are eventually going to migrate out into your main lake points. Your rock piles are going to be close to these same bays. Some of them will migrate out to your larger reefs as well, but if you can congregate on those areas, that's what you're going to want to look for. Oh,
Hey, Jason.
hey, what's up?
We're hooked up.
I think that might be the one that we...
I think that was the one we were chasing before.
So earlier we'd seen this fish surfacing. We kept trying and trying and trying. And we said, well, maybe if we come back around to the other side, and I think we might want to net this one.
We might need to. This is
And
a nice fish.
so we came back around and we gave it a completely different angle. And I see Garrett switched. He was throwing a topwater.
I missed him on the top water and nailed him on the
Nice.
on the hair. That's awesome. That's super cool.
That one is a,
Look at that one.
look at that.
That's so cool.
But like we were saying, it could have just
Thick
been a
fish.
simple change in direction, right? And how that fish was relating on that structure.
Yep.
You know, I think more than likely the fish had its butt to us and its face was this way.
More than likely.
And we came in this way and the fish ate.
Yeah, like you said, the change of the lure, bringing it across the top of the rocks, that can make all the difference for them. So cool. That's fun.
We're out here today and we've got this Maluna unhinged cooler, made in the USA, made right here in Minnesota, and this thing is absolutely amazing. Last thing we want to worry about in the morning is making sure that we have enough ice in the boat. We know that when we fill up our Maluna on the start of the week, that towards the end of the week we're still going to have cold ice inside of there. Oversized handles, they're lightweight, easy to haul around, plenty of room, and these things are top notch. You want a cooler that'll keep ice for several days on end, these Maluna unhinged are where it's at.
Reed's Family Outdoor Outfitters is the #1 ice fishing headquarters. We have everything you need, from today's firearms to the latest fishing electronics and the hottest footwear and outdoor apparel. We only carry the best brands at the best prices. Have a question? No problem. We have the most knowledgeable team in the business, ready to answer your call personally 7 days a week. Whether you're visiting us in Walker, Minnesota, or touching your screen, with our state-of-the-art distribution center, we can get you gear when you need it fast. Cast or blast, Reed's has the best service, best advice, and best price, guaranteed.
We just took a break from fishing, and I wanted to talk to you guys here a little bit about our Maluna coolers. Malunas, there's 5 different sizes: a 22 quart, 40, 50, 70, and 111 quart. And we're super proud of these things. When we first came about to them, Maluna had gotten its start on the Kickstarter program and really took off from there. The original founder of Maluna had a whole lot of success with it. Eventually we got linked up with him, and he decided that he was going to move on to other adventures, and we said, well, we'll pick up this adventure for you and keep on going with it. So with Maluna coolers, they were previously manufactured in China, but once we got involved, we pulled all of that to the United States, and now we make all of these coolers in Baxter, Minnesota, with USA sourced materials and components. And because we have our manufacturing right in our backyard, we're able to control the quality of coolers. Previously touted, Maluna had touted 23% longer ice retention than the leading competition, but with a few slight design tweaks and some USA sourced materials and components and tighter tolerances on quality, we're able to achieve 35% longer ice retention than the leading performer, the leading competition. Our tests that we did was done in Miami, Florida in July. And as you know, in Miami, it is hot down there. The test that we did, it was a 2-week-long test. It was our 50 quart versus a competition 65. And with that, that's how our test was done, using medical instruments that's used to transport organs and vaccines, all very important things, all done third party. So to achieve 35% longer ice retention, we're very proud of that. But there's a lot of really cool features about the cooler itself that, aside from ice retention, comes in handy for days like today. We've got a little bit of wind, not much at all, just a light breeze. So it's nice and warm. The sun is up hot. And what's really helpful is the 2 straps that secure it in the front to keep it down, and then the 2 straps in the back that I'm going to show you here as well. 1, 2. Why 4 straps? Well, our patented feature on the Maluna cooler is it's a living hinge system, a free-floating hinge system, if you will. So if I were to undo this lid, the lid will wiggle itself. That allows an even seal all the way around the entire perimeter of the cooler. Our competition, any other rotomolded cooler out there, has just 1 single pin in the back, and it leaks a lot of your cool ice temperature out the back here. So we've mitigated that with our own free-floating hinge system. And then the second most important part of the cooler is the actual gasket itself here. This is a premium molded gasket, 1 piece, not your average extruded profile, to where it is all 1 piece. There isn't a seam down in the back here where, again, you lose a lot of that ice retention performance. So that's super handy. We offer cutting board dividers and wire baskets as accessories. A few other accessories to come. We'll get to those later. But molded in handles, these molded in handles are solid, they're tough, they're not going to break on you. You don't have to worry about buying a new rope handle or anything. If your front straps or rear straps were to break, you can easily remove these top tier plates, slap some new ones in. We offer those as replacements, no problem. But super handy cooler to have in the boat with you on a day like today. Couple other features too. There is a locking mechanism here with the built-in bottle opener. We've got the non-slip grip feet in the back, so the cooler isn't sliding around on the boat when we get into some heavier waters. We can make custom laser badges in the front there. You see the Leisure Outdoor Adventures logo on that. If you have a business or you just want the Johnson's family reunion laser on your front badge at the time of your order, we can do that. Upload your artwork, we'll get it zipped off to you, and your cooler will come with that custom badge on there. So a high performance cooler, again, is really important for guides, for other outdoor avid fishermen and hunters and all kinds of different people. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a guide like Jason who's on the water all the time, or just your leisure user. It's really important to retain your ice. Ice is expensive these days, it seems, and so rather than buying ice every day, hold on to it, buy it once for a week, and have cold beverages all week long. So it's high performance coolers like this that keep our beverages cold. And speaking of beverages, Jason, you want a water?
I take one.
Sweet. Well, let me open up this fancy dancy cooler. Ice cold water. There you go, sir. Check us out, maluna.com, on Facebook, Instagram. We'd love to get you outfitted with the best high performance cooler on the market today.
Yeah, this isn't fun. As a football coach, I'd say that's a football.
There we go. Another one of those visual bites. Nice. Paying off, that's a nice one. So tall.
The old Elliott identity did the trick. Yeah. Better one?
Yeah, better.
Let's cut that one. Oh, look at that one.
Look at the belly on that one.
Vermilion Club pizza last night. Full tummies.
That's a better one.
Nice work. Nice. Look at that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Now there is a story to be told with that one.
Wow, that one's got some meat on it.
I tell you what,
That's super cool.
we've
We've had a day.
Yeah, we've had an awesome day. And we started messing around with the drone because why wouldn't you want to get some picturesque scenery? And we spotted this smallie hunkered back in this little like cove, and we kept throwing and throwing and throwing, and first blew up on what, a topwater.
Yep.
And then
Actually, I think, yeah, I hit it on the head basically, and
Yeah.
it flopped on a rock, hung up the treble hook, of course, which always happens, but yeah, super cool. I missed him once before on the fluke. I thought the fluke's got to pull through, but yeah, that's been a journey with that fish.
oh man, I bet we threw 15, 20 casts at it. Kept watching it, coming in and out, chasing, and if that's how we're gonna end the show today, that's a heck of a way, man. That is Lake Vermilion right there.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's scenery, tons of smallmouth bass. Literally anybody could go and fish and catch a fish like that. I mean, be in the right spot, right time, throw the right lure, and you can do this all day long.
It's a good way to end it.
Heck yeah, man. Nice
Awesome.
work.
Thanks for having me out.
Thanks
I
for
appreciate
coming
the
along.
invite.
This has been awesome.
We better get this guy back in the water, though. Alrighty, there she goes.
Tell you what, that's a wrap for that Guide Life show. We're not just walleye fishermen in LOA. We fish muskies, we fish walleyes, we dabble with the panfish every now and then, and we like to catch bass too. Come on up to Lake Vermilion, spend a day catching bass. I tell you what, you'll get hooked. Not only on bass fishing, but what this place is all about.
For sure.
So come on up. Thanks again for Garrett. More importantly, check out Maluna. Great lineup of coolers. Maybe even some cool stuff coming out soon too.
Guarantee you that. There's some real cool stuff coming.
All right, we'll see you soon. Be sure to subscribe to the Guide Life on our YouTube channel. Check out all our social media pages, and stay tuned for the next Guide Life episode.
Leisure Outdoor Adventures would like to thank all their sponsors for their support in making the Guide Life happen.